We experience in our lives that there's always like a good and bad on animals. And mainly where we come from, it's like if a dog is good, actually means he's like good domesticated. He's well trained, he's behaving nice, he's not barking, not biting. He's like walking next to a human. This means good. And bad means if he's biting or if he's trying to always move faster to get out of control of the human. So these are the two things that we know from where we are from, how dogs are categorized. And this is now so different in our film, because what we appreciated is to see how there is a city of the dogs, and our good and bad is like no category anymore. Like we really wanted to see these animals like following their own like way through their life and their city.
So over half a year we were shooting in Moscow with the dogs, with stray dogs, and we really tried to get part of a pack of dogs living on the street. So this was the main goal we had from the beginning, that the spectator can have the feeling of being kind of part of this group of dogs. And so I think we reached that with the film. And just a very few shooting weeks of this like 3-month shooting constantly are in the film, because the beginning, the encounter with the dogs were more attentive to us, and in the end we got kind of a group together, like 5 people filming and 4 dogs.
Есть легенда, что дух Лайки опустился подобно комете на землю и бродит с тех пор по улицам Москвы.
And also I think like we are born like way after everything happened. So it's obvious that it's not possible for both of us to feel this context that this like early space race had. And so we decided not even to try it, because it's simply impossible. Like
it was never our point of interest.
Yeah, too. Yeah. So yeah, it's what we did. We like took a lot from different sources and tried to break with this Soviet narrative and also with the US American narrative that really wanted to imitate like a fairy tale where animals were like on their own will serving for their nations. And it's very important for us that this happened. And so yeah, we tried to do it in our way.
Yeah, it was clear from the beginning that this big story of space would need a narrator, but like the space story came a bit later in the project. We started with the idea to just make a film about a pack of dogs. So during the research, and we found out, okay, we want really to tell a story just with them. We had in mind should be no word. It should be super experimental, just dogs, and maybe darkness and sounds. But as soon as we found out Laika was born on the streets, first animal in space, coming back, so we had this big story. And we thought, okay, we need this voice, which could be some cosmic voice from the future or the past, or it could be a crazy scientist who is talking the first time about things he witnessed. But it was also clear we have to balance that the dogs keep the power of the narration, that this narrator is just giving some spacey arc to all of it, but that he's not leading, because I think leading, we always wanted that the dogs lead and not the human. So.
Высоко-высоко на орбите Земли парила мертвая собака в космической капсуле. Лайка была первым живым существом, запущенным в космос. Но когда капсула коснулась плотных слоев атмосферы, жар стал таким мощным, что тело Лайки сгорело. И в этот миг московская бродячая собака превратилась в дух.
Because when we started looking for the dogs in Moscow, it was on different layers of research, and one was like, who are going to be the dogs that we want to have for our film, like main dogs, spending like half year of our life with them, and what is the best area to shoot the film. But another thing that was very, very important for us was to encounter situations when we can really like see our human world in a very like this human absurdity out of the dog's perspective. This is what we searched for, and in the research it was all like theory. There was no proof that we can gain this, that we will see it. And actually in the first days of a test shooting, we started in this area, and we always, like in research, we were so much looking for, okay, when is something human happening and the dog is watching it, and the magic is like just coming out of this encounter. And it was actually one of the first images. The DOP, Yunus Roymer, was shooting with the camera. We were following a dog, and he was just lying in front of a club, kind of bar, early in the morning.
The one which is in the film?
The one which is in the film now. It was like sun was rising, super loud music out of the bar, blue lights, super beautiful. And the dog was just lying, wandering, listening to the music maybe, but he was all alone on the street. And then suddenly the door was like open, and 5 guys came out of the bar and started to use this huge discussion and fight. But when you see the dog in front, you feel like it's going to be different, because he's watching it and he's asking this, what the fuck? What is this? What are they doing? And when we saw this material, it's not in the film, it was research, I would say personally for me, it gave me a lot of trust that this is the cinema we want to make.
We always wanted to really dedicate the film to these animals and to something which is not human so much. So we wished always for the dogs take over, also the narration, and are like somehow changing the expectations of a viewer. And so for this we are very happy that because we think the dogs lead a big part of this film, and also from a dramaturgical point, they somehow break with our expectations, and they also took over our control. Because when we decided to follow, and at one point they take over, kind of, and so it's their story which is told. I think since then it's also strange for us to see dogs on a leash, because you realize, okay, they have really a life without our control, and they actually don't need us to a certain point. Dogs don't need us. And animals in general, because what we thought about are like in the beginning we wanted to always reach a film where you think about our relationship to nature. What is so-called nature and where is it? And what the dogs are showing, that there is a kind of nature, even if it's a human-made animal. The dog would not exist without humans. So in the evolution, it's a strange point the dog has, because it's very close to humans. And yeah, I think this is what we learned ourselves a lot during this shooting, like to follow them, so it's their world, their thing, and there is a planet where we are the strangers.
To focus on a group of dogs, they gave us access to so many things we explored, we saw. So actually I would do it in any other city in the world again, to just pick one street dog with the aim to follow him, to see the city with his eyes, on his perspective. And so we did not know anything about the city. We just focused on these mainly 2 dogs, and followed them for weeks. So all the people we met, all the atmosphere we encountered, all these like very paradox and absurd pictures you see now in the film, it all comes from their axis. So I would say this is what we enjoyed the most. It was the main challenge. I mean, we knew before that this film is a challenge to watch, because what maybe people have first in mind when they hear the title of the film and when they see maybe some images or when they read the first text, it's maybe something more cute, more predictable. And this is what we enjoy now, that it's unpredictable for everyone. And in different countries, in different cultures, people cope to different views. And like, for example, in Soviet or post-Soviet countries, we experience now that these dogs are part of the childhood very often. So people are used to live with them. Where we come from, or in Western Europe, it's very exotic. We touch them and I think this is basically the main luck we had. Like what, as I said, their understanding, in which way we will never know, but it was really a kind of, these stories, from fiction film, that there's a behind the scenes, and then there's something very often magical happening when the camera is running. And there were these moments of long breaks, just sleeping, nothing happening. And there were these moments of, okay, now concentrate, we shoot a film. And I think it's when, as I said, when 5 people give all their attention and dedicate themselves to these 2 animals, they
I guess they
get
felt that because
some understanding.
we were sitting around, they were like coming really close to us and smelling on our hands and playing around. The camera, when we started, they were kind of in focus. Okay, now which adventure do we show the guys today? It felt sometimes like that, because they brought us to very different, beautiful places. They lead it.